I graduated in the School of Forestry at the University of Minnesota back in 1960 and went to work immediately for the U.S. Forest Service Department of Agriculture in northern Michigan on a temporary assignment, and just 2 months later was assigned to a permanent position on the Superior National Forest on the north shores of Lake Superior in Minnesota. Those early experiences, I was eager, of course, to new job and a new career and opportunity to participate with a very, very well-known leading agency in the management of public lands, forested land. But very early on, I began to question some of the things I was observing that were going on within the science of forestry, and they kind of developed some concerns. One of the first experiences I had while I was still even a temporary employee was on the Ottawa National Forest, where I was assigned to a timber marking crew, where we were laying out a timber sale to be offered to commercial timber operators on a contract basis, and the high bidder would then get the contract and harvest the trees and the timber on this particular site. And as we were laying out the sale, I kept noticing remnants of an old timber sale that had taken place back in the 1940s. I didn't know much about it, but there seemed to be a great deal of waste. There were large yellow birch logs left laying there that over the years had decayed, and just question why the utilization wasn't so much better, because they were obviously high quality yellow birch logs. And again, the whole motive and goal behind this timber sale was to supply products from the forest, what we could take from the forest, rather than what the forest really needed for health and diversity. And so these concerns stayed with me, and I spent 34 years with the U.S. Forest Service on numerous assignments, in fact 15 different assignments throughout the United States. After 34 years, I decided to retire and had more time on my hands, and these haunting concerns stayed with me. So I began doing some more research on my own as a private citizen now, and reading more about the natural world and the importance of the forest lands that are left on this planet. And I felt this need to communicate with people and get this story out to people, and decided about 5 years ago to write a book which is called The Trees of Life, Our Forests in Peril. And the whole intent is to explain the importance, the uniqueness of forests, and to begin focusing on what the forests need rather than what we want from the forests. When you look back historically at civilizations that have failed and collapsed in the past, it's invariably been the environmental issues that have resulted in the demise of these cultures. And the two most important issues is population expansion and deforestation. We're continuing to deforest the forest-covered lands on our planet at the rate of, or the equivalent of 20 football fields every single minute. I mean, that's hard to believe, but that's what is going on today in deforestation. And then the U.S. Census Bureau tells us that we are looking at a population expansion that continues to grow worldwide. As of right today, we're at 7.5 billion people on this planet, and told that within the next 32 years, by 2050, we will reach 10 billion people. So we've taken it upon ourselves to try to get the word out, spread the word of the importance of making some very, very significant changes in the way we relate to Earth. I'm convinced that the Industrial Revolution has, in effect, lost our intimate relationship that our forefathers and other cultures have had with Mother Earth. A relationship that all things are connected, that every single creature, every single organism plays a role in the circle of life on this planet. And without that, the chain and the circle of life begins to fall apart.